Rock stars, welcome. It's May the 28th. Welcome to the Guitar Show. Friends, we're going to have a lot of fun here today. I'm going to be answering your questions in real time, both off of YouTube and Facebook. And so we're literally just going to be jumping straight into this. Oh no, I lied to you. I'm going to be showing you my favorite ways to practice today. And other than that, I'm going to be getting to some questions, right? Is my shot all of a sudden wrong? What's that? All right, so we've got a new camera in the studio, friends, so that's what we're doing right now. So just bear with us. We literally got this brand new honking camera, and yeah, it's not going to look the way that you think it's going to look, but because we got other things that we're going to be doing. But nonetheless, just invested in some really great cameras for the studios. I say studios because we have another one that we're going to be moving into hopefully soon. I'll let you know about that as things progress. If I've learned one thing in this endeavor, is to don't make announcements until you're pretty sure that you have everything in place. I get excited about things. I'm an excitable kind of dude, so I say things just right away, like we're dudes talking. And sometimes I say them too soon. So there you go. So we're going to be talking about my favorite ways to practice. And then I'm going to be going into some questions. And we'll start on Facebook today, okay? All right. So when I say favorite ways to practice, that's nowadays. And here are 4 things that I find myself doing often. This didn't take much for me to think about this. I literally am like, what do I do every time I pick up the guitar these days? And here they are. And, listen out to when I describe these to you, because if I just throw them out there, you're going to be like, well, whatever. But let me describe to you why each one of these is very powerful. Number 1, tabs. And what I mean by tabs is just really practicing other songs. That's all I mean. So you could be doing this with tabs. You could be doing it with charts. You could be doing it with whatever, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2 is DJ2. DJ2 is a program that I use that I'll show you here in just a moment. And what that does is it allows me to, I won't even worry about it yet. Just understand that it basically is listening to music and it's allowing me to slow it down, keeping it in the same tune or the same tuning. And I'll show you that in just a moment. Improvisation, so that could be any improvisation, whether that's writing or soloing. Could be bluesy type stuff. It could be just chords and melodies and whatever. Just basically coming up with stuff on the spur of the moment. Okay. And number 4, as I said, arpeggios. And, an arpeggio is a chord that's broken, right? Broken down. You can play it like an arpeggio like this, right? Or you can practice an arpeggio like this. But either way, that's an arpeggio. It's when you take notes out of the chord and you play them separately. That's all that is. Cool? So, and I'll tell you why those are important as well. So first, let's start with tabs. And really what we could do is, instead of saying tabs, we could say learning songs, learning new songs, learning new licks, learning new solos, learning whatever, but specifically songs, okay? And now here is why this is super, super important. A lot of people, probably you, I know I've done it before, is you just want to get to playing right away and you just want it to ooze out of you. We have these emotions in us and we want them to come out immediately on the guitar. Guess what? They don't do that. They never have for any guitar player in the history of ever. I don't care, name Jimi Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen or whoever you want. Never happened at first. It took time, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of time and dedication and desire and oomph, okay? Desire to go after this instrument. Without it, there is no good player. And so by breaking songs down, what we end up doing is we end up it's as if we're taking a quote, a very famous quote from somebody, right? A buddy of mine, we were talking about this Albert Einstein quote the other day, and it's not word for word, but it's something like the most important question we could ever ask, or the most important thing that's going to determine our fate in life, is whether we believe in a universe that is hostile or a universe that is loving. I'll say it again, and this is exactly what bringing these parts down and slowing these parts down and pouring over those parts are going to be doing for us. Because if I just say a quote like that, you might go, oh, cool, that sounded deep, and then really didn't get it. I'll say it again. Albert Einstein said the most important thing that we can ponder is whether we believe that the universe, or God, or however you want to look at it, that the universe is hostile, or that the universe is loving, that it's kind, and that it's caring, and that it's looking out for us. Huge, okay? So the second time I said that, you got it a little bit more, right? Now, what happens if we said, okay, what are we talking about? I'd never asked that question. In the same way that we might pour over a quote. When we're working on a part, so I was working on this part the other day, right? Right? I was working on this part the other day, and it requires lots of muting, lots of in-between muting, so like those sorts of mutes, but then I'm also muting strings in between my fingers and what have you. Now, for one to think that that's just going to come out right away, it's absolutely ridiculous. And to take a lick, to take any little thing that you're having an issue with on the guitar and to just make a little loop of it and to just seam it together and to pour over it. That sort of thing, right? Anytime that you have that sort of thing, you want to pour over it, pour over it, pour over it. Because the devil's in the details, okay? So, I could go on and on and on about that, I won't. But nonetheless, if you think you're going too slow, then you're not. Until you have the part down and it's very clean and it's awesome and all the rest, you don't have it down yet. Slow it down, do it over and over and over again. Okay, let's talk about DJ2. So DJ2, or any sort of software that allows you to slow things down, the great slow downer, Song Surgeon, Riff Station, DJ2. These are all programs that allow you to slow things down and listen to it in a way that's in the same key, but still slowed down. Okay, so let me do this. Let me go to my screen here so you guys can check this out. And I'm not. Am I switching in there, Chris? For whatever reason, it's not working for me. Okay, thanks, man. All right, so this is DJ2, and if I were to play something here, and I'm like, what was that? Okay, now what I can do is I can literally slow this thing down and play a riff over and over again. Now I can listen to it, right? And hear it. If I can sing it, which I'm not saying I'm some great singer, but if I can sing it, if I can hum the melody, if you can do this, then you can find it on your guitar. This is what I teach inside of the beginners. It's the beginners section. I think so. Hum and hunt, right? Where you hum a note and then you find it on your guitar. It's the same thing. This is how to develop the ears by just doing stuff like this. But if you hear something at this speed and you try to emulate it, you might be like, well, I just don't even understand that. You may not be able to hum that fast. So what this program does is it allows me to slow it down. And I can even slow it down more than that. But that's DJ2, super cool program. There's other programs out there like Riff Station, like I mentioned the other ones, right? Riff Station, Song Surgeon. Oh yeah, there's other ones, okay? So I love those. And they allow me to improve my ear while at the same time going to number one, which is learning new songs. And a lot of times, especially if I'm teaching songs from scratch, like on YouTube and that sort of thing, I really prefer to do everything by ear first and then go check the tabs. Reason being is, when I was a kid, there wasn't many tabs to be had. There wasn't websites and what have you to go to. Every once a month, Guitar for the Practicing Musician came out, and that was just a great magazine that allowed you to look at tabs from like Yngwie Malmsteen, Al Di Meola, and all these great players, Gary Moore. And I remember actually they would teach like 5 songs, so you'd have them there available. So I was so used to doing things by ear that I got pretty good at it, and I want to keep that skill going. Word on your ear is that you can improve. Always improve, always improve. It's a learned thing. And the more theory you know, the more you know your fretboard, the better you're going to be at ear training, because it really doesn't have so much to do with your ear. Yes, you're hearing something, but it has to do with your perception, okay? If I hold this mug up to my kid and he doesn't know what colors are, and I say, this is a red mug, look at this red mug, Aaron, it's red, it's red, it's red, and I teach him that. Now, he's perceiving the same color that you and I are, but he has the wrong label, okay? So that's music theory, essentially, is that we're taking labels and we're applying them to things that we're already hearing. It's like I always say, when you listen to Mozart as a child and then you listen to it as an adult who's been through Juilliard or been through some massive music training, you're going to hear it the same exact way. Your ears aren't truly hearing anything different, okay? However, what your brain is doing is interpreting things differently. So you might say, I'm hearing it differently, but what we mean by that is, I'm hearing it the same exact way, but my brain now has all these labels and other things to attach to it to allow me to decipher this differently, right? I'll say it another way is that if someone speaks Mandarin to me, I'm not going to understand it until I study the language. But it's the same things that somebody Chinese is, if they're reciting something, is going to be the same words, okay? So so those programs are really good for deciphering, okay? Number 3 is improvisation. And so what I mean by that is any sort of improvisation, whether I'm doing blues, improvising over something like a chord progression or what have you, or I'm doing any sort of whatever. Like I was messing with this patch earlier, right? So I have like a little vibe there. I like what I'm doing with the delay. I've got some dotted quarters happening there, and I've got this kind of bouncy effect, and I like it, and I like what I'm doing with this here. It's musical, but it's only one little thing. So I might improvise and add to it like I did coming up here. I might add some chords or what have you. But really the only thing I mean by improvisation is the opposite of number 1, which is just playing somebody else's songs. You are creating, okay? But Eric, what do I play? That's a great question to ask. Allow that space to annoy you so much that you start creating, because that's the only way that anything has ever been created since the beginning of time. If you think that some genie comes and drops a magic song into your ear every time, you're wrong. Every now and then that happens where you are given a gift, if you will. It happens all the time, and I hear creative people talk about it all the time. That's where genius comes from. The word genius comes from genie, and people believe that something visited you and gave you this information. And I don't know if that's not untrue, because sometimes I've written songs, or I've written solos, or I've written pieces where I've said, where did that come from? That's not me. I'm mediocre and not very good. And then all of a sudden something great comes out of me, and I go, wow, that must be from somebody else. Probably not. It's probably me, but nonetheless, you know what I'm talking about. Improvisation, the only way to get there is to leave that space and say, well, what do I want to do? Well, maybe I want to do something bluesy. Well, if you don't know how to play blues, if you don't know the labels behind it, then you might not be able to come up with something, right? But you can just straight up create whatever you want to create. And you've got to start from zero. Everything starts from zero, okay? So improvisation. Number 4 is arpeggios. So why do I like arpeggios? I like arpeggios because they help me map out the fretboard better. So if I'm thinking about, that's G major arpeggio, then what that does is it allows me to see where I could go on the neck. This is what we call sweep arpeggios. There's not a whole lot to say about them other than it's basically the construction of music, chords, and it shows you where all the notes are at in a specific chord. And I teach these inside the Unstoppable Guitar System, so if you're in there already, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Otherwise, if you're on YouTube, you can always search YourGuitarSage arpeggios. Cool? All right, let's get to some questions here. And friends, we're going to be starting on Facebook today. Now, I have other things that I practice, but nonetheless, those are the ones that I'm going to be talking about today. We may delve into some others here shortly. Okay.
YouTube is having an audio sync problem.
Okay.
But it's perfect on Facebook.
Okay, cool. So it's not us.
Correct.
Okay. So Chris has let me know that we have an audio sync problem, but it's not us because we're serving it out correctly. That's why it's fine on Facebook. So here it is, friends. This is your opportunity, unless you absolutely hate Facebook, and that's okay. Then you have to watch the video out of sync or do something else. But if you want to watch the video in sync, we're serving it out to the internets the way it's supposed to be. Head over to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/YourGuitarSage. And then you'll hear it in sync, okay? And guess what? That's where I'm taking the questions first anyhow. So, yeah. Guys, put that in the chat if you would, if you have the opportunity to. Thanks. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to be starting here on Facebook, getting to your questions. Whether it's on practice or anything else, you let me know, okay? I'm here for you. Oh, lots of questions on Facebook. Good. All you guys from YouTube are heading over there, right? That's why we have many different ways we can do this. Cool? Okay, remember, I'm only looking for those with a question mark and all caps, okay? Okay, sadly, I can't hand today, so I'm going to... Okay. When learning of songs, would it be better to focus on a song until you have nailed it before moving to the next, or spread your focus over... Who's calling me? Or spread focus over the next set? It just depends on what you want to do. I've done both. So there is no specific ways to do it. It's what way keeps you playing. Just looking for those with a question mark and all caps, okay? And I'll switch over to YouTube as well, but yeah, YouTube servers are lagging indeed. It's not us. Yay! A lot of disgruntled people heading over to Facebook, right? What's up with that? What's up, YouTube? Yeah. All right. Any help on trying to keep the thumb relaxed? James is saying. James is a top fan, by the way, on Facebook. Way to go, James. So, yeah, keeping the thumb relaxed. Number one, ease up on the pressure that you put on the guitar. That only comes through practice and observation. So you have to observe as you're playing, and you have to go, am I pressing too hard? And the way that you can tell is whatever you're playing, if you lighten up and you still can play it, then you were probably playing it too hard. So it's just like if you were walking, or it's like when kids used to, be like, I'm going to pray real hard, and they do this, and they close their eyes and scrunch, and it's like that's not going to probably help the prayer so much. But you have to observe yourself and tensing your body up. In this case, tensing your hand up. So don't do that, okay? All right. Man, just the internet is having an issue today, huh? Other people are fine. So how does your daily meditation affect your practice and playing? Michael's saying. Michael, I don't know. I'm sure it does, but meditation helps keep me more focused. If you can imagine me less focused, it helps me focus more, and also it allows me to go, well, what do I want? What do I want out of this day? What do I want out of my playing? Where am I going in my life, and that sort of thing? So I think for all those things, it's very, very helpful in just, Now, directly, I would say probably doesn't affect it so much, but indirectly, very much so, Okay. Okay. If you're having issues in Facebook and YouTube, my friends, you do not have to keep posting. Okay? You don't have to keep posting. We know there's problems with Facebook and YouTube, but you don't have to keep posting. I appreciate it. But please, let's get to the questions. I don't want to let's not clog up the chat. Cool? All right. Love the idea about singing the solo. I'm learning. Do you sing your own solos? Yes, indeed. And I sing everything that I am learning. I hum it. I play it all. Okay? All right. What is a good hand warm-up? David, who's also a top fan, is asking. David, it's exercise number 1 inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System, and it's free. There's a free link for it. We'll post it today. If it's not in the description of the video, it's YourGuitarSage.com/30. Okay? Here's the link. Here's the lick. Is to just literally do this, David. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And then do that on each one of the strings. You can do all downstrokes, down, up. That's a great warm-up right there because it's not something you have to think about so much. Just go. Moving all the fingers at the same time, or moving all the fingers. Chords versus picking. I started with chords and then tried to learn the same, only picking, but then I get frustrated. Should I continue? Of course you should continue. If you don't continue, you're not going to get any better. The only way to get better is to play. You guys will hear me say this very often. For those of you that get it, you're going to be like, Eric, I get it. But obviously there's some folks that don't get this. If you don't continue to practice, if you don't pick up the guitar, you're not going to get any better. You've got to practice. The more you do it, oddly enough, the better you become. So it's not chords versus picking. You got to do both. You got to chord something. You got to strike some strings, and either with a pick or finger picking, and you got to be playing something over here. So they're just two different jobs, okay? You got to do both. And they have to be in sync. And the way you get them in sync is to practice. How many more guitars will I buy being your student? My wife wants to know. As many as you need, Larry. As many as you need. Okay. Yeah. All right, so I'm heading over to YouTube, okay? Yes. You guys do not have to post that the video and the audio are misaligned. We've been going for about 20 minutes here, and we know it is. It's not on our end, so I apologize. But let's get to questions. How about that, right? Okay, do you think masters were well versed in theory or just had a natural talent? No, I don't believe in natural talent. I think it's ridiculous. I will go to the ends of the earth saying that. And there are two different camps. There's people that know, maybe I shouldn't say it that way, it sounds a little slanted, but there are people that believe that that it's about work, that it's about practice, that it's about study. And then there's those that believe in natural talent. Now, let me piss you off here. You ready? Here I go. I'm gonna lose some people, but that's all right, because I'm going to be honest, okay? Here you go. People that believe that it's natural talent, then here's the deal. Grab your guitar, buy a real expensive guitar, and let it sit there, and then wait for the natural talent God to come deliver natural talent to you. Now, I know that in your mind, I'm speaking to those who think that there's natural talent. I know you're like, well, it's not that obvious, but there are people, you got to admit that Michael Jordan was born with blah, 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 or Jimi Hendrix was born with blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, they practiced their asses off. Michael Jordan was kicked off of his high school team. And then he practiced, and then he practiced, and he practiced, and he practiced. And oddly enough, he became arguably the best NBA player ever, okay? And so what does that mean? Same thing with Hendrix, right? He practiced, and he practiced, and he practiced. Everybody sucks in the beginning. This is a continuum from here to here. This is zero talent. This is lots of talent. In between then is practice. And oddly enough, the more one practices, the more talented they get. So you do the math. Now, for those of you who know that it's really just a matter of work, it's a matter of study, it's a matter of practice, then I don't need to be preaching to you. You know. For the rest of you, I'm not here to convert you. I would love you to be converted because I want the whole world to be happy and to abide in truth and in the light. But not everybody wants to do it. They would rather complain. Some folks would rather complain and say, well, this is why I'm never going to be successful. Don't be that guy. But if you are, stick around. Maybe some will rub off on you here, because I definitely don't believe that. I 100% believe that it all has to do with work. And you can take Mozart and people will say, but at 4, he was doing this or that. Or in my course the other day, somebody said, at 15, so-and-so, or 18, so-and-so came out with this album. And I said, really, why didn't they come out with it at 17 or 16 or 4 or 2? Because if you were born with natural talent, natural is what you're born with, right? Then why didn't they do that then? Well, that's just ridiculous. No, it's not ridiculous. We're talking about the same thing. Let's be real. Okay, so you won't see that. But what people do a lot of times with their belief systems is they try to fit them into something so that they can continue believing that. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Get outside. And if you truly want the truth, it means challenging your own beliefs and your own paradigms. It's the best thing you can do. Okay. Have you or will you post a review of your Faith acoustic guitar? Yes, I'm working on that this week. Is there a link between chord shapes and scale shapes you use? Indeed, it's all related, Ted. It's not like I could show that to you very quickly. There's not a quick way to show you that. It would take many hours of video. And I teach all of that inside my systems, right? But yes, there definitely is a relationship there. Okay. Maybe true, no talent, but it does come easier to some people. I worked with my son, and we would both work on the same material, and he would get it easier than I could. I think that sometimes there is a natural aptitude, or you could call it whatever you want. If you took somebody who was drunk and absolutely, totally sane and totally smart, but you tried to teach them how to play guitar, their surroundings, their environment is keeping them, or in this case here, the alcohol they drank earlier is keeping them from learning. So, Brad, I would have to say to you, do you have the same brain as your son when you were working? All the rest. There's so many variables to this. But if you lean on the whole, it comes easier for other people, they're more talented, this, that, and the other thing. If you keep trying to make that your mantra and keep trying to make that your paradigm, then congratulations. And I'm not beating up on you, Brad. I'm talking to everybody. I'm preaching to myself, okay? Congratulations, that's your paradigm. You just effed yourself, okay? Truly. Now, or you can think higher level than that, and you can go, no, so-and-so is doing it, I'm going to do that. And I see people do this all the time in every field, and those are the people that succeed, okay? Robert Johnson sold his soul. Yeah, see, we love to believe in stuff like that, right? Because it makes it so much more believable. And trust me, I've said it a million times. When I've watched Yngwie Malmsteen, he's wearing the pentagram around his neck. Well, surely he sold his soul to the devil. And since I've never truly seen a contract or never actually seen the devil, and I don't think that that is probably a thing that you can actually do. I think you can believe that you could do it, but since I don't believe that's an actual thing that you can do, I don't believe that Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil. I believe he was probably a very poor black man, and he was moved by music. And what else was he going to do but pick up his damn guitar and practice? And he had that hurt in his heart, and he let it out in his strings. You don't have to sell your soul to the devil to do that. You just got to be honest. That's it. All right, so here you go. Michael says, bullshit. You either have it or you don't. So Michael is in that camp. So hopefully he believes that he has it, because if he doesn't, he just effed himself. Michael, I would say in that case, don't play guitar unless you know that you have it. But I'm telling you, Michael, and I can say this from teaching thousands of one-on-one students. So you can say bullshit, but unless you've taught that many students and sat in front of them and seen it over and over and over and over and over again, you might want to take advice from someone who actually has done that. But no offense, if you want to believe that, then believe that. I'm by no means want to convince you to do otherwise. I want to help you, but if that helps you better to believe in that, then do it. What's the best way to practice phrasing when practicing solos? Shane, the best way to practice phrasing is to learn some phrases like from the masters or take a course, and then to practice those phrases in an improvisational type of setting. What I like to do sometimes is I will take a phrase and I will do all sorts of bits and pieces to turn it around. So for instance, if I go like this, okay, if I go, let's see. Okay, so if I go, and I'm not going to play the whole progression, but nonetheless, if I take a riff like, whoa, scratchy pants. So if I do something like that phrase, then I might try to play it a bunch of different ways. So I might go, if I don't have the whole progression here, it's going to sound a little weird, but nonetheless, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a phrase and I will try to play it in different ways. So I might go, doing slides. Different emphasis, different techniques, and what have you. So that's how I would practice phrasing. And then use improvisation. Yeah. Okay. And Michael, I'm trying to put your thing on the screen here, but for some reason, if it's not already, then I'm sorry. But it's that one where you said bullshit. I'm trying to have it shown. I don't like to censor anything unless someone's just being a big jerk, But that's just an opinion. That's cool. Brad's saying, not saying I couldn't do it, just had to work harder. Eventually, I would get it. Yeah. Okay. I'm telling you, when I speak about this stuff, it pisses people off because we're talking about very core beliefs. This is why, friends, the folks that get inside the Unstoppable Guitar System, when I'm reading these comments all day long, they know what I'm doing, because they will say, wait a minute, you're talking about a life lesson here, and it's not like intentional. I guess it's just because this stuff is replete in life as well. Playing guitar is life. I mean, there's so many things that could be related to playing, and when they get in the program and they see what I've done, if I say, okay, do this, and then spin around 3 times and do this, and then when they get at the end of it, they're like, you aren't playing around. That really, really worked, and they're very happy about it. So, yeah, all that stuff relates. But when we're talking about these paradigms, this is why there's Eric Andreas, this is why there's Marty Schwartz, this is why there's Brett Papa and Guthrie Trapp, and there's all these different players teaching different ways. It's because, well, number one, it's because their parents had babies and they became guitar players. But why you gravitate to one teacher over another has a lot to do with the paradigms, the belief systems that they have, and that's the way that they teach. Okay, so but not everybody's in agreement with this stuff. There's lots of people that I respect here, at least one or two of those folks that I just mentioned, who don't believe that way, and that's okay. And we got a few folks disagreeing with me here too, and that's totally okay. I'm fine with that. All right. If you wanna believe that, then do it. And if it's helping you, then do it. Like Dr. Phil says all the time, how's that working for you? If it's working for you, then great. And I would also have to say for that same response, it's like, then why practice? Then you shouldn't have to practice, because natural talent's natural talent. You don't have to do anything. Otherwise, you're kind of doing it artificially if you're practicing. You know? It either is or it ain't, is what I'm saying. All right, I'm backing up a little bit here. And two, why would you want to believe that's the way it is? I don't understand that. And trust me, I have more people I think believe that than don't. My brother and I argue about it all the time. He says, BS, Eric, you're good at guitar. You know, you've always been a good guitar. I suck at guitar, but you don't know anything about cars. Well, guess what? I don't like cars like he does. He buys cars, sells cars, knows everything about cars. I don't. I was interested in music, so what did I do? I picked up the guitar. I wasn't at a car lot. I wasn't sanding cars and into engines like he was. So guess who's the car guy? My brother. Guess who's the guitar guy? Me. Because I liked guitars. Okay? So if you're into something, your brain has an amazing ability to just absorb all of this information. But if you're not interested in something, it repels that. Okay? How many in here are brain surgeons? Just a question. How many of you are brain surgeons, right? So if I started asking you about high-end brain surgery questions, you're probably not going to know. Not because you're not dumb, but it doesn't interest you. So why would you? Even if you had gone to a class on it, you're probably not going to know much about it, you know. Sage, are you a lead or rhythm player? I'll lead all. And most players are. It just depends on what you're doing. So if I'm playing a solo, I'm a lead player. If I'm playing chords, I'm a rhythm player. Okay. Yes. Is there a way to watch inside of UGS? Both YouTube and Facebook suck today. Yeah, and I'm sorry about that. No, there's not a way to watch on UGS. I apologize. Not gonna be much for a lunch fund today. Thanks Facebook. Thanks YouTube. All right, let's. I'm gonna head all the way to the bottom of Facebook. Christopher is saying, the 90s generation think differently than we that were born in the 60s and 70s, and that is true. And Christopher didn't say anything wrong. He just said that there's different ways of thinking. You will find this to be true. You look at people that are born today, 10 years before that, 10 years before that, everybody thinks differently. And you know the weird thing is, every generation think that those were the ones that had it right. Dangerous road to go down. It's good to look at all and see what can you glean, what kind of information, what kind of wisdom can you glean from all these different bits, okay? Your listeners are always right. You can think you're the greatest all you want, but if you suck, well, you do. And what Roddy's saying here is really interesting too, because at the end of the day, an artist is responsible for making art. And it is the listeners or the observers of that art to determine whether it's good or not, right? I used to work with a buddy who would say U2 was the best, not even arguably, is the best band in the world. U2. I mean, it's just known. It's just known. And he was just so dead set on it that I always thought it was funny, and I would always like laugh like you're joking, right? Because I loved U2. I've seen him live and all the rest, but he was so adamant, like it was math, like it was 2 + 2, right? He just knew. And it allowed me to see into the psyche a little bit more of how people think. They're so adamant, and they just know that they know that they know a specific thing. Not a good way to live. I've lived both ways, and I, we all have our paradigms that we believe in, but you do it too much, you're gonna, it's a messy way to live. How do I go from being a rhythm to lead player without dropping the ball? Besides loopers, anything else? Jude, there's a million different things that you can do. Dropping the ball means you're stopping. So as long as you don't stop, you're not going to drop the ball. Are you going to get it instantly? No. It's going to take studying lead guitar. It's going to take studying scales. It's going to take studying chord progressions and how. Oh, God bless you, whoever. Look at that, Paul. Even with the crappy broadcast. Oh, look at Richard coming in. Oh, beautiful, so kind. Friends, thank you so much. Yes, I'm taking the boys to lunch today. We're going to be doing that right after this broadcast. So I'm sorry for what's going on here, but Paul, thank you so much. Richard, thank you so much. That means the world to us. It really does. Okay. So as long as you don't stop, Jude, you're going to be fine. But there's lots to know, right? Lots to know. Just got to dig in. Okay, so let's talk about savants for a minute here. Ryan said, great point. Aptitude towards one ability or another will exist in anything. Outside of savants, there are few to no people who will pick up an instrument and start wailing. And even savants don't either. They really, truly don't. I've never, ever seen it in my life. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist because, again, I like to not be stuck in specific paradigms. I like to keep my mind open. And I would love to see it. I think it would be so fascinating to see a 1-year-old pick up a violin because they could actually do everything there, and to just be able to go, or even at 2 or 3. I would love to see that, but I've never seen, even on YouTube, I've never seen that in my life. I've seen kids doing fascinating things, but it takes a little while. And then, okay, when it comes to savants, right? I had a kid, I think I've mentioned this to you, he had perfect pitch. If you don't know what that is, it means that if I hit a note like that, they would be able to name the note. They'd be able to name the note. Not because they saw me pick a D string, but because they would just know it. And I could literally play any note on the guitar and they'd be able to tell me. I could also play any chord. I could lay my fingers, a claw across the fretboard and strum a chord, and they would tell you every single note that's in there. They could play a 10-note chord on the piano, and they'd be able to tell you every single note that's in there by name. That's called perfect pitch. Some people believe that only children can have it, or that it's developed only when you're a child. I don't know. There's a lot of debate about it, and honestly, I don't care, because I've seen musicians who've had perfect pitch that were magnificent musicians. I've seen folks who didn't have perfect pitch who were magnificent musicians, just as good as those with perfect pitch. I've seen those without perfect pitch who sucked at music. And I've seen those with perfect pitch suck at music. So bottom line, it has nothing to do with perfect pitch. And it has nothing to do with these things that people think, well, you're born with that, you're going to be great. It just doesn't work. Do I wish that I had perfect pitch? Sure I do. That would be an extra little bonus to put in my pocket that would help me. Sure, it would. I think I would like that. I don't know. I don't know what it's like to have it, so I can't say for sure. But What's that?
Old records sound bad if you have perfect pitch.
Do they really?
Yeah, because they're not in tune.
Huh. So Chris was just saying that old records, right? Because they're probably not in pitch, what we call standard pitch, which is made up anyhow. I don't even understand how perfect pitch can actually be a thing, since 440, A440 is completely made up. It's been 445, it's been 442, it's been 435 over the years. It's been less than that. So I don't even know where that comes from. It's probably... Oh, thank you so much for the donation there, Brent. Oh, man, you guys are the best. Thank you so much. That really warms my heart, seriously, especially with the issues that we're having today. Thank you, Brent. Very kind of you, my friend. So with that being said, perfect pitch is great. Would like to have that and what have you. But so I've had these students come in and they had all the promise in the world. They were born into a musical family. They had these long fingers, tiny fingers, like tiny, like thin, long fingers, just everything about them. And they failed because they didn't practice. And then I've had, what is going on today? The kids are coming out and playing. Frank, thank you so much. I love that. Oh, man. Slumkowski. That is a cool name, Slumkowski. Thank you so much. Folks are donating right now on YouTube like it's going out of style. Thank you. Listening to music in the womb, David's saying. He also said reincarnation. David, I think that there's probably merit to both of those. Growing up Christian, I know I'm not supposed to believe in that, but I've seen a lot of different things that I have to go, well, what is that? What is that? When someone does a pre-life whatever it's called, regression, and they talk about different lives that they've lived and stuff like that. Or listening to music in the womb, 100%. It's like at some point, we are exposed to something. And music in the womb, indeed, that's helpful. Okay? But at the end of the day, I don't know of anybody in the history of ever. Please, I would love to see you challenge me on this. And not even challenge me, enlighten me. Enlighten me on the subject. Please, anybody, and talk amongst yourselves too here, okay? Because I probably won't see them all, but you please name somebody who's good at anything. I don't care what it is. Good at anything that requires practice, I would say, okay? Jude, thank you so much. God bless you, my friend. Mukadane, thank you. Oh, yeah, YouTube's back on track. That's why we're getting all the love there, I think. Thank you so much, friends. Anything that requires practice. So what I mean by that is not a child who's born extra tall, okay? And then their job is to enter a tall man competition. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that requires practice, okay? And then let me know of somebody who completely leapfrogged over that and has become a master at something and didn't have to do that. Please enlighten me, because I want to know it, because this is a debate that's very, very serious, and we got to get to the truth, and we can only do it by discussion. Be nice, be kind, okay? I'm being kind, and I truly mean enlighten me, because, man, if I find out that that's true, then I won't be saying this anymore. How about that? That's my gift to you. For those that don't agree with me, tell me somebody who's a master at anything that didn't practice, that just were born with it, naturally, of course, and then I'll stop saying this, okay? Because I don't want to be spreading lies, and a paradigm shift for me would help me so that I'm not dispelling misinformation, if in fact what I'm saying is misinformation. Okay, cool. All right, so Diane's saying, I'm a beginner doing it on my own with you, Eric, because I can't sing. You can sing. You can. It's a practice thing. Sorry, it is. But I get it. You may not have a desire to sing, and I've been down that road, trust me. I used to think I couldn't sing too. Now I sing all the time. And I've sung live, and I've done stuff on albums and everything else. Somebody who didn't sing. I also couldn't play guitar at one point. I find myself drawn to fingerpicking a song. It's instant gratification, but I don't know where it's taking me, and I can't seem to get away from doing just that. Feel like I'm coming to a dead end because I don't know where to go from here. Any suggestions? Diane, yes, you got to be in some sort of course, or be following some sort of guide or some sort of lessons in some way. I teach hell amount of finger picking inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System. If you search on YouTube, if you don't want to buy anything, you could go on YouTube and search YourGuitarSage finger picking. I have tons of videos for you there. So Diane, just like anything that I'm saying here, if you want to get good at something, you have to pour yourself into it. You have to laser focus, go after it, and that means not just waiting for the genie to show up. Sometimes the genie shows up, maybe once or twice in your lifetime. As for me, I ain't waiting for a genie, okay? I've had him show up. I've had her show up. It's happened sometimes. But the rest of the time, I got to work my ass off because that's the only thing that I've seen that works, and it works for everybody. It doesn't work. The only people it doesn't work for is people that try a little bit and then they quit and they go, wah, life's tough. Guess what? Life's tough for you. Life's tough for me. It's tough for everybody. Stuff happens. But you can rise above all that by changing your thinking and getting into that other level. So Diane, for you, I'd say dig into some lessons, get into a course, watch, get a book, watch videos on YouTube, but that's what you want to do. But I love that that's your thing, right? Diane's finding this is her thing. She's drawn to it. It's instant gratification. Love it. Yes. So just dig in more, because what's happening is you're seeing an end to what it is that you're doing. And that's not a good feeling. So, but you got to do, this is work. You just got to find out what's the next thing, what's the next thing, what's the next thing. But Eric, will I run out of things? No. There's an infinite amount of things. There truly is an infinite amount of things that you can learn, do, everything else. Okay, cool. All right, good. Good. You guys are getting this. All right. Good, good, good. Heading over to YouTube. Here we go. Thank you so much for all the donations, friends. That is super cool. Super kind, all right? Good. Love that YouTube is back on track. How do you get good with singing? Celeste, the short of it is you practice. What do you mean, Eric? How do you practice? Well, singing to other songs is a great thing. Understanding how the voice works. So just like guitar, playing songs, helpful. Boom, immediately. Because your brain has an uncanny way of, if you desire something, it has an uncanny way of getting information that you don't even know that you're getting. When you walk, if you understood how many calculations, how long it's taken for science to create a damn robot that can walk on two legs, they're just now getting around to it now, last 5 years or so. Can jump and do all the 9 yards, right? But nonetheless, it's taken forever to do that. So if you had any idea what it took for the brain, what it takes for the brain to calculate walking, the math that it takes to not fall over all the time, you would be so amazed with how friggin' smart you are, okay? So nonetheless, you really wanted to walk as a baby, and guess what? You did it. And at one point you couldn't poop or talk, and you're doing all three of those, you rock star. So look at that. So how did you get good with singing? Well, number one, you have to be obsessed with it. It has to be something that at least is a desire of yours. If it's not a desire, you're not going to get good at singing. Not because you weren't born with natural talent, but because you don't have any desire, okay? I suck at Mandarin. I have no desire to learn Mandarin. No desire. So I suck at it. I'm not very good at reading music. But Eric, you have a book on reading music. I know. It's just to teach you how to play, teach you how to read. But I'm not good at reading music because I don't do it all the time. I had a girlfriend that played in the symphony. She still does. And she is so good at reading music. Why? Because her job depends on it. She does it all day long. Ask her to improvise, though. She sucks at it. And she's good at teaching because she's a teacher. She does it all the time. Okay, so whatever it is you do, you're going to get good at. How do you get good with singing? You sing. Start singing more. You definitely are going to not be good at first, okay? But you're going to get better the more you do it. Studying the mechanics of singing, just like we study the mechanics of the guitar. That's going to help because if you get with a good coach, they're going to teach you things that you can do with your voice and with your diaphragm and with the vowels and with opening up the back of your throat and all sorts of things like that in order to become a better singer, okay? Millions of videos on YouTube on this if you want to get started with this, Celeste. As far as singing and playing at the same time, I have videos for that inside the system, okay? Timothy is asking, how much should I play? Timothy, for folks that have heard me say this a lot, I'm just going to do my quick version, okay? If you want to be completely mediocre then just practice a medium amount. If you want to be an absolute suck master, if you want to just completely suck and have people just completely turn away and think that you suck, then don't practice that much. Not a big deal. Play some video games, eat some pizza, watch some TV. Don't do anything. But if you want to be a master at anything, you need to think like a master. You need to go after it like you are the person who's going to be the only person. You're going after, not the only person. There's so much competition, and you got to be the first person. That's how you want to think. That's how much practice, Timothy. Depends on what level you want to be at. Are you totally fine with mediocrity or sucking? Then you know what you should be. But if you want to be good, if you want to be excellent, if you want to be a master, those are all on a continuum of practice, okay? And 8, 10, 16 hours a day, that's what a lot of masters do. Some folks will only practice 3 hours a day, but they're doing it in such a way that they're really digging in, okay? They're really digging in. Their mind is on it. They're focused, all the rest, okay? How do you get more creative? You get more creative by sitting there with a guitar and noodling, coming up with things, learning music theory, working with other folks that inspire you, okay? But it all starts with that blank canvas, like you're talking. How do you get more creative? The only way you get more creative is to lean into it. You won't get creative by just doing this. Okay? Now watch the progression. This, no creativity will come to you. This, you're getting closer to it. Oh, you're warming up. You're getting warm, you're getting hot. Oh, I'm gonna turn my volume up. Now we're getting somewhere. Now I can become creative. Okay, well, I know that this is a C chord. Eric talked about the cage system. You're watching some videos. You're seeing some forms come out. You're seeing the fretboard light up for you, if you will. But it takes an effort. So that, number one, it's an effort. It's not rocket science. It literally is moving forward with something. Whatever you're at, whatever level you're at, do more than that. Okay. Thank you, TBA. Ah, Chris, you killed me there. That's beautiful. Practice until your idols become your competition. I love that. This is something that I've done since for many, many years now. This works for me. I'm not telling you to do this. This is me. So it's just my thing. But a lot of times people will go, Eric, let's go, they would say all the time, let's go see so-and-so in concert. And I'd say, nope, I got to practice. And that's what I did is I practiced, because for me, going there and giving adulation, this is just me personally, okay, to another band or something like that, for me, there's nothing wrong with that, but it was time, it was energy that I was focusing on somebody else going, God, they're so good, and I'm not. When I could have been not saying that, I could have just been at home working on becoming better, okay? Just working on becoming better. If I'm watching somebody else, I'm not becoming better. So I love what you said there, Chris. And again, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just, what do you want to do? How are you spending your time, you know? Let's see. Ron is saying, to learn music theory, does that mean you have to learn about all genres? Nope, it does not. Ron, if you go to, and we'll post the link here, go to my free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Okay, there's the link right there. Hopefully that's in the description of the video too. If not, you know where to go. And so the music theory that I teach there, and it's free, it will reveal things about the guitar that you could use in any genre. So no, you don't have to learn about all the genres. That's kind of like higher up stuff that you're going to be doing, okay? Are guitars like, this is Pranav is saying, are guitars like Yamaha Pacifica and Fender Squier good for beginners? If not, I'm going to wait a few more years until I can buy my first new electric guitar. Don't wait. Go get one of those guitars. Those are great guitars to start off with, okay? You're going to outgrow it if you are practicing a lot and you are voracious about your learning, okay? So you definitely are going to outgrow it. That's cool. Do that. And then you can have a beater guitar that you can play out on the porch or by the beach where the salt's going to be hitting it and stuff like that. You need some beater guitars. Not that those are beater guitars. The Yamaha Pacifica is a great guitar. A Fender Squier can be, depending on if it's set up and what model it is and those sorts of things. If you're looking for some beginner guitars and stuff like that, we have some on the store, kit.com/YourGuitarSage. We'll put the link up for that as well. Okay. How did you get good with singing? Oh, how did I get good with singing? Celeste asked. I thought you said, how do you get good? I got good with singing by taking lessons and buying courses and singing all the time and sitting with my songs and singing phrases over and over and over and over again. So I would take a section of a song that I couldn't get and I'd slow it down. And then I would just practice that part over and over again, maybe practice it in a few different keys. Just, it's all about noodling, man. Look, how do you become good at being a sculptor? Listen to this. There's a gem here, okay? A sculptor picks up clay the first day and makes a ball, okay? Everybody makes a ball at first, and then he makes a snake. I can make a snake and a ball with clay. It's what every child does, right? But at some point, that sculptor says, I want to do something different. I want to do something more. And their brain starts thinking, how do you become creative? This is it. This is the process. And you go, I want more. I want more. And then you start making now you make a cube. Okay, and you're like, okay, all right. And then maybe you like make a circle, but then you put some ears on it and a nose. And eventually, this starts becoming the Michelangelo. Anybody in here who thinks that Michelangelo just did this stuff, I mean, come on, for real. Do I have to explain that to you? You know this. Michelangelo, Da Vinci, these guys didn't just do this stuff. They didn't just poop this stuff out, okay? That's insulting to masters. It's so insulting to think that they were just born with this stuff, okay? There, I said it. Be pissed off with me, but it's insulting. It would be insulting for you to think that anything that I'm doing just happened. It's like, I've been doing YouTube since 2006. I've been teaching since 1985. So I've been doing this a while, all right? So like anybody who thinks that all this stuff just happens, it's insulting and it's not true. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl, okay? Anyhow, what are the benefits of playing alone compared to learning with others? John, both are are great, and both are recommended. Obviously, playing alone, you're going to be doing plenty of that, and that's the easiest thing to do. If you're not playing with other people, daggone it, play with some other people. At least one other person, 2 people, right? Where 2 or more are gathered, magic happens. So at least 2 people, right? Playing with other people allows you to see your own frailties. It will allow you to learn from others. When RJ Ronquillo was here, he did this fun little lick thing, and I've done it before, but the way he did it and at the speed that he did it was awesome, and it made me go, oh, dude, what was that he did? And he goes, right? He did this cool thing, and it sounds like a whammy bar, like if you had a whammy bar and you went, that sort of thing. And but he didn't have a whammy bar, and I didn't see him grab a whammy bar. So I was like, cool, how'd you do that? So when you get together with other people, you learn. It's impossible not to learn because they're going to be doing something that you don't do. And even, man, I've learned so much from my students that I've taught from scratch. Listen to this. There's a gem here. I take a student who's never played a day in his life, and I teach him. This is day 1 and day 2 and day 3, just like in the free course, right? YourGuitarSage.com/30, right? But eventually what happens with that student is they start going down the rabbit hole themselves. I can think of a couple of, right off the top of my head, one specifically, Sean. He would come in and he was practicing so much, and he would do something, I'd go. And he obviously had his own route that he was going down. Another one is Aaron Muckala, a buddy of mine, great guitar player, and I taught him since scratch, and he became his own thing, and he started showing me stuff, and I said, dude, that's amazing, that's great. That's how it works, okay? So you can become better than your masters if you put in the time. But you got to do 2 things. First, you got to believe that you can. If you don't believe that you can, what's the quote? If you believe you can, if you believe you cannot, you are correct. So the folks that believe here that what I'm saying is a lie and they can't do these certain things, they're 100% true. They can't. They cannot. That's it. That's the end of it. They can't. There's nothing to add to that. They won't. They can't and they won't. People that believe they can have a much better opportunity to do whatever it is that they believe they can, because nothing in the history of ever has ever just created itself. It was always a thought that happened before then. I know that's controversial for some, but dear Lord, just hang with me here. But nonetheless, everything started off with a thought, a song, an invention, Amazon.com, YouTube.com. Everything started off with, well, I wonder what happens if we had videos and on this website and people could watch it, and now you're doing this live, right? It all starts with a thought. So, God, how did I get down that rabbit hole? That's something to do with playing with others, right? Now, when you're playing by yourself, you have the ability to woodshed. You won't woodshed with other players. What I mean by that is this. If I'm practicing this technique, right, and I'm like, wow, I need to get that faster. This is called woodshedding. I would only want to do this alone, because if I was sitting with other players, they're going to be like, dude, stop noodling. Let's play the damn song, right? But if you're alone, I can make a mistake and work on it over and over again. And so I wouldn't get that by practicing with other people, you know? When someone's rehearsing for a play, they have rehearsals, and you go home and you learn your lines separately from everybody else, and then you have a rehearsal with everybody together. And then ultimately you have a dress rehearsal, which means it's go time. Drop your lines, go. If you make a mistake, keep going. And this is the way we have to practice in life, right? You practice by yourself in your woodshed, and then you practice with other people together what it is that you practice at home. I was in a band, I've been in many bands, but one band that I was in, everybody else except for maybe the bass player did not practice their instruments. They knew the songs, they learned the songs, but they learned the songs years ago, and then they wouldn't practice their instruments. So that what happened would be that we'd get there to rehearsal and they would know the song okay, but their musicianship was not very good because they weren't practicing their musicianship, okay? And so because of that, the songs would only get so good. They just didn't get any better than that, and that's why I left the band, because I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and practice all these songs, learn 60-something songs, practice for hours a day, and then go on stage and drummer's not playing in time because he doesn't like metronomes. They ruin his groove. No, you can't play to a damn metronome, and you're a drummer. You're supposed to keep in time. So anybody who says I can't play to a metronome because of musicians' reasons, because it breaks up their creativity, that just means what they're saying is, in a way that their ego has taken hijack of that idea, is I can't play in timing. I can't play in time, so I'm going to wrap it around this whole I'm being super creative and I can't play to a metronome. No, that's crap, okay? Sorry to be the bearer of the bad news. I know I'm dropping subscribers like flies, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth, okay? So sorry. Okay, what would you recommend as a good singing course? Okay, so there's a guy that I eat breakfast with almost every day. I'm not recommending the course because of that, because I took his course years before that. His name is Brett Manning, Brettmanning, buddy of mine, and we're going to end up doing something eventually here. He does what I do, but with voice, okay? And yeah, look him up, Brett Manning. It's called Singing Success, okay? And he does an absolute great course, okay? Look him up, okay? Robert Baker, mindset is everything. That's right, brother, right? Listen to Robert and check him out too. This is the Robert Baker I'm thinking of. Check Robert's stuff out. Killer player, killer attitude, great teacher. And it's true. Mindset is everything. If you start out defeated, you will never win. This is why, man, it's like the people that I surround myself with not only are, successful people, but a lot of them are great guitar players. And this is what I found, is that if I hang out with people like Brett Papa, Guthrie, RJ, all these people who are great guitar players, they're great guitar players because they worked their asses off, not because they were born with it. And so inevitably, they are going to be successful at just about everything they do, okay? This is true. And this is something I've just recently discovered myself, and I'm like, that makes sense, because these guys they know what it takes to take something from zero and make it into something huge, okay? So thank you for that, Robert. Yes, indeed. All right. Hey, Eric, I am on YouTube. Should I be, or is there a better place to be? No, you're right in the right place, okay? Yeah, this is the Robert Baker, right? Okay, great. Love it, Robert. Thank you so much for adding that, my friend. When is the next giveaway coming up? Don't know. We don't have it in the books yet. Okay, beautiful. And Robert and I have talked. Next time he's in Nashville, I'm going to be having him on the show, so he can blaze for us. Woo. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, let's look for some more questions here. We're going to be going about another 20 minutes. Friends, if you can, take a moment to like this video. I love your comments, all that good stuff, but also share it if you would. We didn't have a giveaway set up for today, but dear Lord, right? We've been giving a few of these things away. The lifetime memberships to UGS, and we'll continue to do that, but we just didn't today. Okay. Advice for fingerstyle beginner. Yes. Start in the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. It's all the advice you're going to need for a long, 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 long time. Robert's saying another thing here. I actually strongly suggest anyone to make a vision board. Totally a powerful tool. 100%, Robert. You and I need to be best buds. All this stuff that people poo-poo, let me give you a little lesson in life here. And I tell this to my daughter all the time. She'll say, so-and-so says that this is how you make money. But then so-and-so says he's wrong, and he says this is how you make money. Or so-and-so says this is how you get buff in the gym. But this guy says this is how you get buff in the gym. And I say, okay, listen to the guy who's making money about making money. Listen to the guy who's ripped, if you want to know how to get ripped. I love it when I say facetiously, I hate it when people when they give advice and they're not successful in a particular subject. What Robert's talking about here is amazing. These vision boards, right? Anything that you're doing that has to do with your vision and your belief system is absolutely 100% going to change your life. And as soon as you embrace this and understand it, you are absolutely going to change your life. Take it from somebody who's done it both ways. I say this to you to help you. What somebody's asking what a vision board is. It's basically just a poster board that you put things on that is your heart's desire. Whatever it is, anything. It's a candy store, you put it up there, whatever you want. You want a wife, you want this, that, or the other thing. The only thing it does is it reminds you constantly that that is something that you want in your life. And when you have that and you're looking at it constantly, it doesn't let you off the hook. Another thing is to write it down in some way. Like literally there's science to support this, that when you write something down, I think it's like you're 60% more apt to accomplish it than if you don't write it down. Same thing as if you commit it to somebody else. It's called burning the ships, right? If you, Tony Robbins says the story all the time, but basically, a group of ships, oh God, dear Lord, I have so many thoughts going through my mind right now, but let's say you want to conquer an island, right? You want to conquer this territory, and you go there, and your ships are in the harbor, you burn the ships, now you have no way to get off that island. So the only thing that you can do is to conquer that island, okay? So this is kind of that idea of a vision board, or if you commit your vision or your goal to somebody else and you say, hey man, this is what I'm gonna do. Now you're out there in the wind, right? Now you've actually committed to something and people have to say, dude, you're not doing what you said you were gonna do. Now you've got that commitment, okay? So it's any sort of thing that you can look, that you can say, this is what I'm doing. That's what a vision board, okay? All right, good. A goal reminder, yes, goal reminders. It's something else, yes. Okay. Okay, DJ2. Can I elaborate on it? Yes. So DJ2, they have them for iOS devices for sure. So I have it on my iPad, I have it on my phone, I have it on my Mac computer. I think they have it for PC as well. Just look it up. It's DJAY2. Just look it up online, because anything that I say is going to pale in comparison to go into the website. All right. All right, I'm heading over to Facebook here really quickly, and I'd be interested to see if the broadcasts where I'm jacked up like this have anything to do with me not eating, because I'm doing this intermittent fasting thing again, more so, and I didn't eat today, and I will for lunch, but I'm always like, because I have tons of energy when I don't eat. Okay, I love guitar and I cannot play it. I focus practice and I love to just pick up my guitar and clear my mind and just play. Nothing wrong with that, James. You say love guitar, I can't not play it. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. It does clear the mind. I always say that guitar is much akin to meditation, because when you're playing and you're trying to figure something out, you can't think of anything else. So it's literally like the world's problems are out there, right? And you just got your guitar. That's why people love it so much. Ken with the truth here, man. Listen to this, friends. This isn't me. This is coming from Ken, one of my top fans on Facebook. Your mind cannot tell the difference between something that's real or something that's vividly imagined in how it treats it. Now, you don't believe me? Let me do this, okay? Let me do this. Let me take control of your mind, either with a drug, or let me just be able to project images into your mind of the most horrific thing in the world, okay? And you tell me if your knowledge of whether that's true or not will help you, because in the moment, you won't have that knowledge of whether it's true or not. Conversely, you can do the same thing with beautiful things. And the more you surround yourself with good people, with kind people, with loving people, and have good, kind thoughts and what have you, it's a chore. Especially on Facebook. That's why I'm off of Facebook. I do these broadcasts, but I don't look at Facebook or really much of any social media, just because I don't like snipers coming in and hitting me with something that I didn't want to think. And now I'm gonna have an image, or I have some sort of something. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's probably because you're so immersed in it. I was too. I started with turning the TV off, started with turning news off, and then turning the TV off. It's not that I don't watch some TV. I do every now and then, but it's usually at my discretion. It's what I want to watch, and we'll say, this is what I want to watch. I go straight to YouTube, and I don't get distracted by other things. But it's all a chore. You got to do it. But what he's saying here is 100% true. This is how another way that I know it's true is that there are people with billions of dollars, beautiful families. They have every single thing that you and I would want, but they're unhappy. So you tell me how that works. They've got everything that they want, but their perception of life is so skewed that they're missing something. So they're unhappy, okay? Conversely, I've seen homeless people who were filled with joy because they're crazy, Eric. Okay, let's take your thing there, right? Because they're crazy. If they're crazy and they're happy, What would you rather be? Would you rather be totally sane and totally sad, or would you like to be crazy and totally happy? Okay? And two, interpretation of crazy, people think I'm crazy, so whatever. Perception is everything. And I would rather have a great perception, because that's going to give me a great attitude. It's going to make everything else great. If I wake up and my bank account is in the red and my wife leaves me and my dog leaves me and everything else, but I just have this great attitude, I'd rather have that any day of the week than have a loving wife and a loving dog and plenty of money in my checking account and just be hating life. Right? You ever ask that question? Because you should. Okay. Here we go. Manuel, I will be the perfect examples of having no talent and being able to learn to play guitar because I will. Got that big old muscle there. Beautiful, Manuel. And you are the kind of student that I would want to have, not the guy that comes in thinking that he's got all sorts of talent and then doesn't do the work. It's embarrassing for them. You, sir, indeed, are the sages. Pouring out today. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Patrick. Well, this is stuff I'm very passionate about, and it permeates everything that we do. It's all part of life. So it's not just guitar, it's every single thing that we do. It all boils down to practice and lots of time. Travis is saying, yeah. And the way that we can compress time is this, friends, is what I say all the time. Know exactly what it is that you want to do on the guitar. If you want to be a blues player, don't study jazz. Study all the blues stuff. Don't study rock. Don't study classical. Study all the blues stuff. Once you've exhausted all the blues stuff, now just practice blues. Now become more creative at blues, but practice, practice, practice. You're done. Okay? Keep going. What I mean by you're done is you're done studying. Probably not. There's a million things, an infinite amount of things to learn. But when it's blues, do your blues. Go after it like a ninja. Okay? So being pointed and being specific about what you want, focus, is absolutely going to help you with everything that you do. And then practice. Okay, that's how you compress time. Because I know this, because I am my own human guinea pig. If I get on YouTube and I say, I want to learn about the cage system, and I go to YouTube and I see all these suggested videos of Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro and this guy playing, Yngwie Malmsteen playing guitar, and this and that and the other thing, and I'm doing all that, right? Well, now all of a sudden I'm distracted, right? And it takes me away from what it was that I was going after. So get all those distractions out of your life. It'll help a ton. So focus is a way to absolutely slow down the clock, okay? My takeaway from today, singing the phrase and trying to play it on guitar. Yes, I didn't know you actually taught this, and I am in your system. Shame on me. Patrick, when you're in the system, search EAR. E-A-R. I have a whole section, a whole course inside of UGS that's on ear training and how to do it and all that. So yes, Patrick, you're 100% right, my friend. Beautiful. All right. Well, I'm looking for another question here. It's a great time to share. Share. Thank you, Ken, so much. It says, I love that you tell us straight. There's no other way to do it, and this is what I've learned in life, is that as soon as we get done lying to ourselves, the truth is still there. The truth is always waiting for us, but we have to stop lying to ourselves first. I don't care about what it is. And the only way to do that is to take outside opinions and measure them and make sure that we're not holding on to something that's not unnecessary, that's not serving you, okay? Got that blister on my little finger. Okay, I'm done, promise. Someone was asking me this morning inside of UGS, they were asking me about the pinky, and they were saying, why does the pinky, why is it such a problem? And let's think about this for just a moment. Look at how far away the pinky is from the thumb. Very close to the first, very close to the second, third, not so much, fourth, definitely not. And you'll notice that when we pick things up, a lot of times we do this, okay? Monkeys are very similar. But the third and the fourth finger are so far away from the thumb that this poor little pinky has not really developed because we just don't use it very often. So guess what? That's not you. That's everybody. Everything, okay? And so you got to develop it. So it's not just you. Cool? All right. So I'm fairly new to playing, and it's coming, I think. Faith is saying. I'm 41, a little old, but, and number one, you're not old because we have folks in their 70s and in their 80s starting inside the Unstoppable Guitar System, which is like 1,000 videos. So they're starting there in their 70s and 80s. So love it. I find that those folks that are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, they never say, I'm too old. Not beating up on you, Faith. I find that the younger someone is, the more that they say that. My 18-year-olds, my 20-year-olds say that all the time. 60, 70, 80 years old, they're not even saying that. They've got their mind on the ball, okay? Got their eye on the ball. I'm being told to get out on a stage and play and just get out there. Best way to learn. Thoughts? Dear Lord, man. No. Stop. Okay. So, nonetheless, yes, get out there and play. It's very, very important that you do that because it is so enlightening in so many ways. But make sure it's a gig that you're not going to be too embarrassed of. Here's the deal. I've never played a show that went better than what I expected. I'll say it again. I've never, in the history of ever, and I've played hundreds and hundreds of shows with dozens of bands, I've never played a show that went better than expected. It either went as expected or less than that, typically less than that. So you're always in for a surprise when you play live, usually. You know what you can do, and if you're sitting there practicing it, the chances of it happening on stage even better than that are small. But it may happen, okay? So, it's not going to go as planned, but that's okay. That's why you keep getting on the horse. That's why you keep practicing. That's why you keep showing up for your gigs and keep doing them, okay? And chances are other people are not going to judge you nearly as much as you're going to judge yourself. Here's Ken starting at 71. I love that. Started at 71. Beautiful. Here's 65. Yep. Yeah. I love that. Yep. Larry saying, I never knew how much music was a part of life until I lost it and then found it again. Me too, my friend. Me too. Okay, last 4 minutes here. We're going to end here right at 12:30. And yeah, a pair of rose-tinted glasses is always good. And it's true. That's an old expression. Just basically, you know, people would say that sometimes to kind of make fun of people who think up. But at the end of the day, it is helpful. Even if you don't believe it. It's very helpful, though, if you believe it, you know. Laugh out loud, I have zero talent, Eric. That's good. As long as you have tenacity and a desire to learn and you actually practice, you're going to be good, okay? I've got lupus and tend to leave skin flakes under the strings. It becomes a hindrance. Tips. Yes, there is... And I have had psoriasis, and I know your issue there, so I apologize that I'm not apologizing. I didn't do it, but I mean, I'm sorry. That sucks. So yes, there are. In fact, I think this is in the store, kit.com/YourGuitarSage. I'm pretty sure that we have this in the store, but there should be like it's kind of like a brush that you use to clean underneath your strings and that sort of thing. If it's not, then you could always just do a search for it and just search like guitar brush strings. Do a Google search for that and you'll find what I'm talking about there. Just brush it off. How do you focus when your music interest is varied? Vic, you do it one genre at a time. So when you're practicing blues, focus on blues. When you're practicing classical, focus on classical. So nothing wrong with doing this, by the way. It's just when you're playing classical, you're not playing blues. And when you're playing blues, you're not playing classical. So if you want to be a master at any one of those, I would suggest focusing on just one area. But I've always been a big fan of being able to play many different genres to a good amount as opposed to being a master at any one. I'd rather be able to play a little bit of all different genres than just be Stevie Ray Vaughan. I love Stevie Ray Vaughan, but that's my take on it. It's my desire. So it's like everybody has a different desire, you know. Should I start with acoustic or electric? Jeffrey, whatever you have, start with that. How's the guitar building going along? I want to absolutely strangle my guy who's building the guitar. How about that? If you're watching, John, I want to strangle you. Trying to relearn lead guitar. Any songs I should be using for exercise, for fingering? Trying to relearn lead guitar. Any songs I should be using for... I don't know what songs you like, Trickster. So I teach a few hundred of them on YouTube, so start there. I would. Stairway to Heaven's a good one. Okay. Good. All right. All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right, friends, we can keep going here, but alas, the boys and I are getting hungry. We've been here an hour and a half, and we're going to run. So thanks, friends, for dealing with me here. I know I've been a little bit out of frame, and Facebook and YouTube are kind of on the fritz today, but you guys are troopers for sticking in there with me. I so appreciate it. Great questions today. I'm sorry I got a little bit preachy today, but look, man, my job at the end of the day is to help people. I have a mission statement that I found after about a week, my first week with Tony Robbins and going down that path and kind of rediscovering myself. Let me see if I can remember it. My mantra is this, is that I'm supposed to be happy and fulfilled in life. It's longer than this. I'm giving you the nutshell version of it. Is that I'm supposed to be happy and fulfilled in life, because I've learned that if I'm unhappy, I make other people unhappy. It's not selfish to be happy. It's not selfish to be fulfilled, because when you are, you will overpour onto other people. When you're happy, you'll do the same thing. You ever met somebody who's sad or angry who's made somebody happy? Usually not. But you ever met somebody who's happy that makes others happy? Yeah. So my goal is to be happy and fulfilled, because that's going to make others happy and fulfilled. And then also that I want to be an icon of compassion, kindness, and love to myself and to other beings. And this is something that we all can do, and that we can do through our guitar. We can do this through our own trade and what have you. And so when I sit here and I preach this stuff, it's because I truly, truly want to help other people out. I want to help other beings out. I want to help animals. I want to help other beings. It's my lifelong mission. And I think if I die having helped as many people as possible, then I will literally close my eyes with such peace. And if I don't do that, I'm not going to be peaceful when I die. And I want to be peaceful when I die. So with that being said, don't be upset at me if we disagree on our paradigms. Just stick around a little bit, because I promise you that I will help in some way, okay? But I'm still open to being changed on any of these things I talked about today, okay? All right, you guys, thank you so much again, and for the donations and all the rest. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next live broadcast.